Are the Clintons corrupt?
The War Room. Infowars.com/show.
Are the Clintons corrupt? Well, does a bear take a shh in the woods? You better believe it. And now everything that we reported on at Infowars.com, at the Alex Jones Show, at Real News with David Knight, here on the War Room, has now been confirmed via the Nunes memo released today. Here's John Bound with that report.
Let's release the memo. Oh, yeah. Oh, don't worry. 100%. Can you imagine that? Yes, sir.
President Trump released the memo saying that a lot of people should be ashamed of themselves after unyielding interference by the Democrats. The 4-page Nunes memo detailing FISA abuse involving the FBI's witch hunt of President Donald Trump has been released. The Washington Examiner breaks down the details, reporting the Steele dossier formed an essential part of the initial and all 3 renewal FISA applications against Carter Page. Andrew McCabe confirmed that no FISA warrant would have been sought from the FISA court without the Steele dossier information. The political origins of the Steele dossier were known to senior DOJ and FBI officials, but excluded from the FISA applications. DOJ official Bruce Orr met with Steele beginning in the summer of 2016 and relayed to DOJ information about Steele's bias. Steele told Orr that he, Steele, was desperate that Donald Trump not get elected president and was passionate about him not becoming president. The FBI and Justice Department mounted a months-long effort to keep the information outlined in the memo out of the House Intelligence Committee's hands. Only the threat of contempt charges and other forms of pressure forced the FBI and Justice to give up the material. Former FBI Director James Comey referred to the investigators of the memo as weasels and liars in a tweet last night. The Hill reports another document, an 8-page criminal referral, filed with the Justice Department by Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley and Senator Lindsey Graham, is also part of the GOP case. Now Americans can decipher why Democratic Representative Adam Schiff did everything he could to not allow its release, including claiming Americans wouldn't understand it, to the bizarre claim that it was unlawful due to the correction of typos.
So these changes were not made known to the committee when we voted out the document. The document that they produced to the White House is evidently not the same one we voted on, and it's just another corruption of the process.
Earlier this week, Schiff had to inform his minority party that both the FBI and the DOJ were officially under investigation by the House Intelligence Committee. The FBI displayed sheer panic as the walls closed in, pleading that they had grave concerns about material omissions of fact that fundamentally impact the memo's accuracy. House and Senate minority leaders Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer had blood in their eyes for House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes, urging Speaker of the House Paul Ryan to immediately dismiss Nunes as Intel Chairman.
I do believe that the Chairman of the Intelligence Committee, Mr. Nunes, should be taken out of that office.
Additionally, former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe stepped down amid the memo turmoil. McCabe is being investigated by the Office of Special Counsel on whether McCabe's activities supporting his wife Jill's Democratic campaign for Virginia State Senate in 2015 violated the Hatch Act's prohibition against FBI agents campaigning in partisan races, according to Circa News. A glaring example of the arrogance of the top brass assuming they are above the law. And FBI Director Christopher Wray has been under pressure by former FBI pro-Russia narrative pushers to step down. Wray is quietly making the threat to step down on his own accord.
To be willing to quit or be fired at a moment's notice in order to stand up for what you think is right.
The panic is widespread. Now Americans can pour the Drano for themselves, right into that drain clogging the swamp. John Bound reporting for Infowars.com.
this whole memo gets released, and it confirms everything that we were reporting on for the last 3, 4, 5 months. I'm not even sure. We told you Hillary Clinton was behind the whole thing, funding the dossier through outlets like law firms and Fusion GPS. We told you that Christopher Steele was behind the dossier and then getting it to Fusion GPS. We told you that Fusion GPS was in touch with the Obama DOJ through the Orr family. We told you that James Comey was privy to all of this information via Andrew McCabe and Peter Strzok. We told you that all of that collusion was what was behind the FISA warrant that then led to spying on President Trump, which they said was fake news. So how about that? InfoWars, tomorrow's news today. InfoWars, next month's news today. InfoWars, next year's news today, confirmed with the memo released today. Does this or does this not expose high treason at the highest levels of the United States government to try to stop an election from happening? Welcome to the War Room on a Friday. What a week it's been. McCabe steps down, CDC director steps down, Planned Parenthood president steps down, State of the Union on Tuesday, incredible anti-American response from the Democrats and the left, total denial, and then we get the memo released today exposing what, it's like you don't want to say it because you realize how real it is and how serious it is. High treason at the highest levels of the United States government, where a presidential candidate has the full power of the federal government at her disposal, and they go along with it, knowing well that it was nothing more than a partisan attack with a fake dossier. And so here we are on the War Room. We're going to be joined by Lionel from the Lionel Nation at 3:30 Central. We're going to be hearing from Roger Stone and his speech that he gave at the Oxford in the second hour. And then Jerry Corsi joins me in the third hour to talk everything about the memo, and we'll get into a little bit of QAnon as well. And I've got video clips, news, the likes. It's going to be crazy today. But let's delve right into this memo. First of all, let's hit the Drudge headlines today because, as usual, Drudge is painting a picture. Trump attacks integrity of FBI and Justice Department. Politicized probe in favor of Dems. Well, it was more than politicized. It was Clintonized. It was a straight-up Clintonized probe to hunt a witch hunt of Donald Trump. Trump says a lot of people should be ashamed. Of course, he's red-linking the memo. Spy warrant relied on dossier. That's right. McCabe said the whole thing was because of the dossier. Sessions, though, rushing to the defense, says no department is perfect. Come on, Sessions, man. Where's your spine? Comey Mock says that's it. That's it? High treason? And that's it? I guess high treason is just part and parcel to James Comey. And then Nancy Pelosi says we're in a constitutional crisis. Well, yes, Pelosi, we've been in a constitutional crisis, and Obama did nothing to help that. In fact, we just found out today that he actually hindered that with the release of this memo. So there's your headlines from Drudge. The stories on Infowars.com from Paul Joseph Watson. FISA memo confirms surveillance of Trump campaign was based on dodgy Steele dossier. That's right, just like we told you. Fake the whole time, a witch hunt, just like Trump told you. And just like Trump told you again. Memo destroys fake news claim Trump was never spied on, or AKA wiretapped. They said he lied about being wiretapped, surveilled, but turns out President Trump was right again. Now, here's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go right into this memo. I'll get into some of the libtarded double standards in response to this memo, but let me just go into this memo and explain to you why this is so important. So bear with me while I read directly from this memo. The committee's ongoing investigation into the Department of Justice and Federal Bureau of Investigation and their use of the FISA during the 2016 presidential election cycle. Our findings, which are detailed below, raise 1, raised concerns with the legitimacy and legality of certain DOJ and FBI interactions with FISA, and 2, represent a troubling breakdown of legal processes established to protect the American people from abuses related to the FISA process. So, yes, they broke the constitutional law, and they knew they were doing it the entire time. On October 21st, 2016, Department of Justice and FBI sought and received a FISA probable cause order, not under Title VII, authorizing electronic surveillance on Carter Page from the FISC. Page is a U.S. citizen who served as a volunteer advisor to the Trump presidential campaign. The application had to be first certified by the director of the FBI or the deputy director of the FBI, that's James Comey and Andrew McCabe, both out. It then required the approval of the Attorney General, Loretta Lynch at the time, Deputy Attorney General, Sally Yates at the time, or Senate-confirmed Assistant Attorney General for National Security, John Carlin. And he left right before all this went down. Then Director James Comey signed 3 FISA applications in question on behalf of the FBI. The Deputy Director, Andrew McCabe, signed 1. They're both out. They both knew it was not legit. Then Sally Yates, Dana Bonte, and Rod Rosenstein each signed 1 or more FISA applications on behalf of the DOJ. So right there, Comey, McCabe, Rosenstein, and Sally Yates, to me, all knew what they were doing was illegal and unfounded. I go on. The dossier compiled by Christopher Steele on behalf of the DNC and the Hillary Clinton campaign, that's right. Again, let me repeat. The dossier compiled by Christopher Steele on behalf of the DNC and the Hillary Clinton campaign formed and really the essential part of the Carter Page FISA application, the spying on Trump's team. Steele was a longtime FBI source who was paid over $160,000 by the DNC and Clinton campaign via the law firm Perkins Coie and research firm Fusion GPS to obtain derogatory information on Donald Trump's ties to Russia. So again, this is a well-seasoned criminal, Hillary Clinton, knowing she can't fund it directly, so she uses the DNC, her quote-unquote campaign, and then the law firm Perkins Coie and Fusion GPS to get it done. Neither the initial application in October 2016, which is when they're freaking out because at that time was when they realized Trump was going to win, that's when they sent this whole thing into action, nor any of the renewals, disclosure, or reference to the role of the DNC, Clinton campaign, or any party campaign in funding Steele's efforts, even though the political origin of the Steele dossier were then known to senior DOJ and FBI officials. So they're saying they knew it was funded by Clinton, they knew it was funded by the DNC, they knew it was partisan, and they still went with it, and they didn't include that in the FISA application. So now the question is, did the FISA judge know what they knew? Did the FISA judge know that it was funded by Fusion GPS, funded by Perkins Coie, funded by the Clinton campaign? That's a deeper ongoing investigation. The initial FISA application notes Steele was working for a named U.S. person, but does not name Fusion GPS and principal Glenn Simpson, who was paid by a U.S. law firm, Perkins Coie, representing the DNC, even though it was known by the DOJ at the time that political actors were involved with the Steele dossier. The application does not mention Steele was ultimately working on behalf of and paid by the DNC, Clinton campaign, or that the FBI had separately authorized payment to Steele for the same information. The Carter Page FISA application also cited extensively a September 23, 2016 Yahoo News story by Michael Isikoff. This article does not corroborate the Steele dossier because it is derived from information leaked by Steele himself that made the story on Yahoo News. So Steele leaks the information, possibly made up, to Isikoff with Yahoo. He writes the story, and then they use that story in the FISA application. That is ridiculous. The Page FISA application incorrectly assesses that Steele did not directly provide information to Yahoo News, even though Steele has admitted in British court filings that he did indeed meet with Yahoo News in September 2016 at the direction of Fusion GPS, and none of that somehow made the FISA application. Steele was suspended and then terminated as an FBI source for what the FBI defines as the most serious of violations, an unauthorized disclosure to the media of his relationship with the FBI in an October 30th, 2016 article with who? Mother Jones, David Korn. So they knew that Steele was already a bad actor within the FBI, and they still went with his sources, even though they knew that he was the leaker that provided the Yahoo News story that they then cited in the FISA application. This just gets dirtier and dirtier and dirtier. So I'm about to run out of time here. We still got a page and a half to go of this memo. So I'm going to come back on the other side, and I'm going to play I'm going to read the rest of this memo, and then we've got some clips about this memo as well before we bring in Lionel to discuss the memo. So this is crazy. The poll of the day at War Room Show on Twitter. Does this memo expose high treason at the highest levels of the United States government? That's right. Barack Obama, is he guilty of treason? Is that what this memo indicates? We asked you at War Room Show on Twitter. All right, Owen Schroyer back live with you here at the War Room. Infowars.com/show, warroom.show. Our poll of the day. Do you believe the memo proves high treason by Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and the DNC? We've got just over 1,000 votes about half an hour into this poll. I say yes. Yes, indeed, it does, that Barack Obama would allow Hillary Clinton to wield the full power of the federal government against her political candidate. That is collusion. That is treason. Let's get right back into this memo from Nunes. Before and after Steele was terminated as a source, he maintained contact with the Department of Justice via then Associate Deputy Attorney Bruce Orr, a senior DOJ official who worked closely with Deputy Attorneys General Yates and later Rosenstein and also Obama. Shortly after the election, the FBI began interviewing Orr, documenting his communications with Steele. Steele admitted to Orr his feelings against then-candidate Trump when Steele said, quote, he was desperate that Donald Trump did not get elected and was passionate about him not being president. Now, you have to ask yourself why. Is that really how Christopher Steele felt, or is that how Christopher Steele was paid to feel and then act because of Hillary Clinton? But not reflected in any of the page FISA application. So again, they knew all of this, but did not include it when they applied for the FISA application. And I'll get to more of that in a second. During this same time period, Orr's wife was employed by Fusion GPS to assist in the cultivation of opposition research on Trump. Or later, so again, now you have Orr in the Obama administration working with Obama admins, whose wife is married to Fusion GPS, who's working for Hillary Clinton. And we already reported this months ago. Orr later provided the FBI with all of his wife's opposition research, paid for by the DNC and the Clinton campaign via Fusion GPS, like we told you months ago. The Orr's relationship with Steele and Fusion GPS was inexplicably concealed from the FISC. So again, they didn't include that when applying for the warrants to spy. According to the head of the FBI's Counterintelligence Division, Assistant Director Bill Prystap, corroboration of the Steele dossier was in its infancy at the time of the initial page FISA application. So do you believe that? And if that is true, why were you rushing then to get that spy warrant pushed through, even though you could not corroborate the evidence they provided, if you want to call it evidence, the fake dossier they provided with no intel, no information that they knew about it? So they intentionally withheld information about the dossier so that they could spy on Trump's team. And then here you have Prystap admitting that they rushed to get that warrant passed, even though corroboration of the dossier was in its infancy. In early January 2017, Director Comey briefed President-elect Trump on a summary of the Steele dossier, even though it was, according to his June 2017 testimony, salacious and unverified. So then one must ask, why did James Comey brief President Trump on that dossier that he already knew was funded by Hillary Clinton, and he called himself salacious and unverified? Was James Comey blackmailed into doing that, or was he threatening President Trump? One must wonder. Deputy Director McCabe testified before the committee in December 2017, just a month ago, that no surveillance warrant would have been sought from the FISC without the Steele dossier information, and that is the bombshell. And again, we reported on all of this months ago. This just confirms again that InfoWars is right. Next year's news today. Let me repeat. Deputy Director Andrew McCabe testified before the committee in December 2017 that no surveillance warrant would have been sought from the FISC without the Steele dossier information. Did you hear me? The fake Russian dossier is the entire purpose, the entire reason behind President Obama spying on President Trump, or then candidate Trump. The Papadopoulos information triggered the opening of an FBI counterintelligence investigation in late July 2016 by FBI agent Peter Strzok. Now you got Peter Strzok coming into the picture and this weird Papadopoulos character. Strzok has text messages with his mistress, FBI attorney Lisa Page, where they both demonstrated a clear bias against Trump and in favor of Clinton, whom Strzok also investigated. How about that? How about that? How do you have someone not recuse himself from that investigation? Of course, Strzok should have recused himself. Of course, Strzok should have recused himself from the FBI. But he didn't. And he knew he was biased. And he was working for Clinton. And Strzok and McCabe and Comey let Clinton go, wrote her off before the investigation ever even took place. The Strzok-Lisa Page texts also reflect extensive discussions about the investigation, orchestrating leaks to the media, and include a meeting with Deputy Director McCabe to discuss an insurance policy against President Trump's election. At first, I thought the insurance policy was the dossier. Now I'm starting to think it may have been an assassination, which we might find out later with the Peter Strzok texts that magically disappeared / were erased. Now, few questions still remain. One, well, really the big question that still remains is, what was the motive behind the dossier? Now, we know that it was funded by the Clinton campaign, the DNC, using the conduits of the Cooey law firm and Fusion GPS. But was the information, obviously the information is entirely fabricated, right? I mean, Trump never had anyone pee on a bed. Trump never had looked into where Obama stayed at a hotel. It's all made up. So the question is, who made it up? Who made up the salacious lies about President Trump that eventually led to libel and slander, which I hope President Trump will follow up with that to the fullest extent of the law. Will that fall in the Clinton lap, Obama lap, Steele's lap, or someone else's lap that we're not sure of? But remember what Project Veritas exposed over a year ago with Bob Kramer talking about how Hillary Clinton really pulls all the strings at the Democrat Party. If Hillary Clinton wants Donald Trump duck on the streets, Hillary Clinton gets Donald Trump duck on the streets. Is this a situation where if Hillary Clinton wants a made-up document making Trump seem like some sort of pervert and some sort of Obama hater in Russia, and then that gets done, is that how that went down, or is there something else at foot there? So those are the questions that we now have to ask moving forward. But keep this in mind. The Democrats say that this memo is fake. There's nothing to see here. Well, then why are they freaking out, and why is the FBI freaking out? The Democrats are also saying that this memo is treasonous. Well, how is it treasonous? They don't show you any classified information. And if you're saying it's treasonous because it's fake, well, then if treason is to fake a document, what does that make the Russian dossier? You always forget to think before you open your big fat mouth, Democrats. And you realize by calling a fake document treasonous, you're now talking about treason with the fake Russian dossier. You also had the Dems say that they could have classified intel illegally leaked in this memo. They lied about that. And that's actually what their memo is going to be. And that's what Hillary Clinton did with her illegal servers. The Democrats were cornered rats. Now they're cornered rats, and they're also hogtied in the corner and duct taped with tape behind their back. They got nowhere to go. So what is President Trump's next move, and will we see arrests for high treason against this country? Welcome back to the War Room. I'm your host, Owen Schroyer. I am now joined by Lionel from Lionel Nation on YouTube, lionelmedia.com. And I know that he's got to be fired up just as I am, just as any American patriot should be about what has been disclosed in this memo. Without further ado, I bring Lionel on. Lionel, I mean, to me, we're looking at a case of high treason, collusion, corruption, illegality, criminality. I mean, this is really amazing.
Don't be so hard on yourself. First, you've got to warn me before that bear piece just now. I spit out coffee. That is the most. I don't know where that. You got to warn people for that, Owen. Got to warn people.
It's just our new stinger. Hey, guys, roll the stinger again. This is just a new stinger. We came up. All right, we're gonna give you a fair warning. This is the new War Room stinger.
Are the Clintons corrupt?
Well, I think the answer is obvious, Lionel.
We call that Ursine Egesta. Fiat justitia ruat caelum. Let justice be done though the heavens fall. You must admit, like most people, that we knew everything that was going to be in that memo. We knew it. But somehow seeing it there so that other people had to read it. And you made a very good point. If it's false, if it's ridiculous, then what's the big deal? You only take flack when you're over the target. If I could tell you, the thing that is going to be the most, and as a former prosecutor, as a trial lawyer, and as somebody who's had to deal with the mentality of our wonderful people called the federal judge. You know the expression, Owen? Why are you making such a federal case out of this? Well, there's a good reason for that, because they have lifetime tenure. They are, I mean, you can impeach them, but they are there, and they have an imperious, bless their heart, tone that you haven't seen. So imagine this. Counselor, do you mean to tell me when we signed off on these FISA warrants, you knew that this guy, this fellow, sorry, I hit that, this fellow, this Mr. Steele, was compromised? You never told us that he was basically bought off, that his testimony was paid for by the FBI? Let me get this straight. By the FBI, in addition to Hillary Clinton and the DNC, you paid somebody to write a story which basically can explain that through some kind of weird Russo-phobic, Eurolagnic, I don't know what the dossier is about, but because of that, you're then asking us to provide a warrant, and you're vouching for the person who said that he was determined to bring Trump down. And in the FISA application itself, you have the unmitigated, as we say in West Tampa, the C.O. Jones, to cite a Yahoo article, which is written, basically cites Steele. Now, we have been rubber stamping you for a long time. Do you know, Owen, that from 1978 or 1979 to 2013, there were like 34,000 applications made for FISA warrants. 12 were denied. 12, wink, wink, deny. Give it again. Why? I just got to lower the numbers. The repercussions of this, I'll tell you right now, Mr. McCabe better be lawyering up. Mueller better be lawyering up, because there's going to be an order to show cause, because you get 21 or so judges who said, you've been lying to us? Look, I mean, it's true what Nunes said. And I don't understand why Schiff should have just said, look, you want this here? Here's a memo, take it, read it.
No, this is actually a great point, though. Why, and we'll get into all the different angles here in a minute, too, but why are the Democrats in such a rush and in such a panic to defend Clinton and Obama? Clinton and Obama have no political pull anymore. They're clearly outed as behaving illegally. Why are Democrats like Ted Lieu and Eric Swalwell and Adam Schiff, why are they so staunch in their defense of these two corrupt politicians? I don't understand it.
A brilliant question. For so long, this us versus them, it's like there are people here in New York who hate the Red Sox, and they can't tell you why, because they go, I don't know, I was raised that way. if you went to them and say, hey, listen, Democrats, remember the old days when you had the Church Commission? Remember when you were worried about CIA wrongdoing? Remember when Frank Church held up the famous heart attack gun? And remember when you were worried about J. Edgar Hoover, COINTELPRO, and basically eavesdropping on Martin Luther King? Remember that? Remember how you hated that? Remember how you hated the notion of rogue government intel? Well, that's the same story. And it doesn't matter if it's Hillary Clinton or whether it's Trump. It's the fact that there are these people, these rogue elements of the government that basically we have entrusted with the Department of Justice. You don't see the irony of that? The Department of Justice has this rogues gallery of perjurers and prevaricators lined up. And let me also remind you, the only reason why all of this happened was Hillary Rodham Felon, the oven mitt fashionista. This is the only reason. It was devised to explain why she lost, and then devised further to probably either bring him down through an impeachment or some kind of 25th Amendment. It all centers, their world centers on Hillary Rodham Felon. That's it. If there were it not for her, this is a sine qua non test, but for Hillary Clinton, this would have never happened. And what has Hillary Clinton done for you? The Democrats must be asking themselves, and let me also tell you something. There's a lot of people in the very serious upper echelons of the deep state. Some people in the, let's face it, the asset-stripping jackals, the central bankster types, the Wall Street folks, who are saying, we're tired of taking heat for this woman. We're tired of this. So we're going to give her up. We're going to throw her under the bus. I thought for sure that when Donna Brazile came up with that scathing indictment in her book, I thought that was the dog whistle signaling, okay, folks, go after her. We've had enough. But yet she's still there. What happened? You're killing me. You got to warn me. You can't do this to me.
What? It's Hillary's Groundhog Day. It's Hillary's Groundhog Day. She's going to be reliving this Groundhog Day the rest of her life.
You know, let me tell you something. Let me stop. Let me talk about stop that. You're killing me. You know, Owen, you're good at this. I've been doing this for 30 years.
This is a great crew. I give my crew credit. They make this all possible. They're so stuck in that wave. They're so sick. They're like tethered. You think something and they bring it up. It's like, how do they know this? But you've grown into this. You realize that you could never go anyplace else after the show, that you can't replicate this on any radio show. Nobody would ever let you do half of this. Well, let me just say this, because we're about to go to break here, Lionel, because you made an important point on the outset that we knew this. We knew all of this was coming for a long time. We've been reporting this. Folks, you can go back and you can watch the last month or more of my broadcast. I have had this diagram sitting on my desk, which got outlined today in the Nunes memo, just to prove that when this day came, we told you first. We already knew this happened. And I think, Lionel, to answer your question, we'll get more into this on the other side. Certainly. We already knew that this all was happening. We already knew the story here. Why are we so fired up? Why are we so enraged over this? Because now it's in Congress. The president knows. The FBI knows. Everybody knows. How can they get away with it? How can Clinton get away with it again? How can Obama get away with it? Lynch, McCabe, Comey, all of them. How can they get away with this? That's why we're sitting here screaming, flipping tables, wondering what the hell's going on when we've got high treason and collusion and nobody's been arrested yet. It's about time for some heads to roll here on the War Room. Welcome back to the War Room. Owen Schroyer here. We are joined by Lionel from Lionel Nation on YouTube, and we are discussing this memo that gets released today. And there's so many different angles to this. You've got the angle that destroys the fake news that said Trump was never wiretapped and said that he's crazy for saying so. You've got the fact that Hillary Clinton ended up being behind the whole thing. Obama knew about it the whole time. They didn't provide full information when they were applying for the FISA warrant. And then you find out in the FISA declassified document that they basically just pushed this thing through despite not going through the proper proceedings. So I bring Lionel in and I ask Lionel this. Will anyone be arrested because of the information in this Nunes memo, or do we have to take things a step further now have a new special counsel, have a new investigation. What is the next step here?
Arrested, probably not because of immunity, though theoretically possible for a judge to hold somebody in contempt. Remember, I'm telling you this. There's going to be an order to show cause. They're going to say, who was it who brought these lies to me? But Owen, here's my question. You ready for this? For $25,000 in a new car, you ready? Who the hell is Carter Page? I mean, we keep talking about Carter Page, Carter Page, Carter Page. Carter Page was just this conduit. Carter Page is wondering, why me? What did I do? Well, you met with a Russian, maybe. This goes to show you the perfidy of this. They needed some way to get in. Carter Page, that goes to show you, just let us in the door. Once we get somebody in our realm, in our sniper lens, you're ours. I mean, I want people to go back and think about this. You've got folks who, it started off with this, and I can't say it enough. Hillary Clinton said, I lost. Why don't you go away? Oh, hell no, I'm not going away. I lost because of Russian collusion. Yeah, that's the ticket. Russian, remember John Lovitz? All right, so then they came up, they said, all right, let's go with that. I want you to come up with a storyline that explains Russian collusion. Now understand, Russian collusion is over with. That's done. That's finished. Russian collusion, Russian bots, buying a couple of ads on Facebook, that's through. Okay, next avenue was, let's try to destroy Trump. And let's come up with this dossier. What's that? That's a fancy word for lies. So basically, they came and they said, here's a story apparently about Trump and some mythical, magical ladies of the night in Russia who soiled a bed symbolically, or, I mean, the story itself. Okay, what does that mean? Well, it just means that Trump is kinky or something. Okay, nobody's even questioned that, Biggie. You paid how much for this?
Which, by the way, who came up with the story is what I want to know. Is that a Hillary Clinton brain thought? Is that a Christopher Steele brain thought? Or was there someone else involved that told him that? Maybe some Russian that made something up. Who originated the story that Trump is hiring hookers to urinate on a bed?
No, stop right there. You're right about this. If you came up with me, I'd say, listen, Owen, we have to talk, man. What is the matter with you? Where did you come up with this? I mean, I would have gone for, how about like Trump is owned by a Russian oligarch because illegal loans, something like that. But you came up with this.
Which they're also trying to say, too, because of a former KGB agent who worked at Deutsche Bank, and President Trump happens to have a loan from Deutsche Bank that has nothing to do with Russia.
Right,
it's
right.
like, what is going on here?
They're so
and
bad
Comey,
at this.
And here comes Comey. President Trump, I got this dossier that says you had hookers peeing on a bed. I mean, can you imagine?
And I can see this. And Putin says, let me get this straight. I can't do a Russian. Mr. Trump bought a hooker to pee on the bed, yes. Is this what, bedwetting? What is this? Yes. And what was this? Well, this was a symbolic reference because President Obama and his wife may have stayed in the bed. Well, listen, I've seen many of the 2020 specials about how you should be very careful about the cleanliness of hotels. But what exactly is this? So they peed on the bed and what? Well, he hired a hooker. Let me get this straight. Did he do anything with the hooker? No. He bought them to relieve themselves, yes. You might want to put in the fantasy that he had his way with the hooker. And by the way, all right, you're a young, strapping American young man. Here's a question I've got for you. Strzok and Page have 50,000 texts back and forth, and they're having an affair? Did they ever, I mean, I'm just saying, did they, sorry for the son here, but did they ever do anything that people who are involved in an affair ever do? Or were they like Anthony Weiner? Oh, I don't want human contact. I just want to text you. Oh, we're going to, insurance policy. This is great, isn't it?
Yeah, I was wondering that same thing. Where does the narrative come where they're lovers? Where's the evidence that they're lovers? Am I missing something here?
Right. Anthony Weiner, not to bring him up again, he couldn't pick any of these women out of a lineup. He never shook hands with these women.
Who are these people? I've got the Trump ski, I've got the Weiner ski, I've got the Page ski, I've got the Comey ski. Where's this dossier ski? What's going on ski?
Where this story? And so somebody said, now this is the FBI, where they come up with different identities. Imagine if you're in some witness protection program and these people have to protect you, and this is their idea of blackmail. Okay, fine. So what they do is, I'll tell you, the smartest guy was Steele. I mean, this guy got what, 160K, maybe millions, and the FBI is basically buying this. Steele must have gone to his local bar and said, "Fellas, you're not going to believe this. I just got 160K for what? I just made up a story." And get this, they wrote it down and called it a dossier. What? I know. It's like me telling you a joke. Two guys walk into a bar, dossier. Okay, we got it. That's 160,000.
You said they peed on the bed ski. Yes. Okay, yes.
I
call FBI.
Oh, that's good. Oh, and you got some flair. Here's an extra 10 spot for you. So anyway, so they took
thanks, Ski.
So they took this, they took this story, and then they said, that's it. And then you've got Eric Schmidt from Alphabet Google, who immediately upon hearing on December the 21st or 22nd, when Trump issues the executive order saying we're going to basically seize the assets of people involved in sex and human rights trafficking, I'm out of here. It's like, wait a minute. Whoa, where's he going? Imagine if Alex calls a meeting and says, listen, there's going to be a drug test, and all of a sudden David Knight runs out of the room. Out of here. You say, whoa, stop him. I think he knows something. So why did Eric Schmidt quit all of a sudden immediately when Trump announced his executive order that only targeted people involving themselves in that? All right, so he's also part of Fusion GPS and laundering the money through Perkins Coie. You see where this rat's nest, this Gordian knot, and then you got Hillary. Then you've got, it's mind-boggling, again, starting with a story about two hookers who are bedwetting, I guess. I don't know.
I think that this is really honestly just scratching the surface here, Lionel. And there's more questions that beg to be answered. Again, like, who made up the story about the peeing on the bed? And then also there's an overlying issue here where, let's not forget that these are powers that are being wielded by our government unconstitutionally. So there's an overarching problem to this. Lionel, thank you for joining us. Lionel Nation on YouTube, LionelMedia.com. Next time, I'll warn you before the bear takes us in the woods. Now, folks, I got a little trouble from Rob Dew a minute ago because, as Lionel was saying in the last segment, you realize that what you're doing here at InfoWars, you can't do it anywhere else. And that's just the facts, folks. That is true. Nowhere else can we lead with these stories because nowhere else will they let you go with it. Alex Jones wants to be on the cutting edge. We want to be on the cutting edge. We go with the stories. That's why we're tomorrow's news today, but we need your support at InfoWarsStore.com. Folks, we're getting hit so hard with censorship, but we're only able to expand and continue to get more platforms and build more studios because of your support at InfoWarsStore.com. So some of the specials right now, 50% off pollen block, great for seasonal allergies, 53% off Cellforce, which is a powerful product. It's got basically a lot of the same ingredients of DNA Force and then more ingredients. So we're about to combine Cellforce and DNA Force to make DNA Force Plus, but this is the final run of Cellforce at 53% off, so take advantage of that. The Real Red Pill, 50% off right now as well. And don't forget about the InfoWars T-Shirt of the Month Club. $19.95 a month, you get the limited edition T-Shirt of the month. This month's T-shirt is a Trump-Pence 2020 shirt. And there's a new one every month, limited time, InfoWarsStore.com. Support the InfoWar. So the big story today is obviously the Nunes memo being released. And then where do we go from here? Oh, man. It's just insane. where, you know, not only have we been reporting on this for months, people think it's fake news. So I guess people just think that these members of Congress are lying. See, someone's lying here, and one sides of the aisle actually have the evidence to support their claims, while the other side continues to make claims without any substantial evidence. That's why I personally can't wait until Monday when the Democrats release their memo. Hey, Democrats, did you see what happened the last time you made up a document? It's called the Russian dossier, and it just landed the FBI, the DOJ, Barack Obama, and Hillary Clinton in a lot of hot water. So if you want to go ahead and make up a new document that will land you in hot water, please, Democrats, release your fake memo on Monday. We cannot wait, and then we'll investigate that, and you'll all get, well, who knows what'll really happen to you. But it'll blow up in your face just like the Russian dossier did. Now let's go to Congressman Matt Gaetz. Let's start with clip 11, who's emerged as a patriot as far as trying to get this information out to the people. Basically saying James Comey's name has been drugged through the mud now.
You heard Adam Schiff saying that there were material changes made to this memo, so he's suggesting that things were slipped into it that they're not aware of. Is that true?
Absolutely not. I've reviewed the version of the memo that was voted on by the House Intelligence Committee and the version that was sent to the White House, and you could about hold both of them up to a lamp and they would look identical. The changes were grammatical in nature. There was a syntax change, but absolutely nothing was added to this memo that would alter its complexion, its content, or that would change the context. And I would remind Director Comey, I don't know that too many schools or streets are going to be named after him once this memo is into the public square.
Ouch, shots at James Comey, and ouch, shots fired at Adam Schiff. Basically, Matt Gaetz just called Adam Schiff a liar. Now let's go to Matt Gaetz making a statement about what is revealed in the memo.
The Intelligence Committee has just released the FISA memo that over 60 of my colleagues joined me in calling for release earlier last week, and it's very important that we go through the substance of this and why it's important. Here is essentially what happened. The Democratic National Committee gave money to the Perkins law firm. The Perkins law firm then paid the company Fusion GPS. Fusion GPS then hired Nellie Orr, the wife of Bruce Orr, who is a senior official at the Justice Department, and they hired Christopher Steele. Christopher Steele then went and wrote this fake dossier. Then Bruce Orr, the spouse of Nellie Orr, who has a background in anti-narcotics and the anti-drug agenda at the Department of Justice, he all of a sudden inexplicably starts meeting with Glenn Simpson and Christopher Steele, and he then valets this fake dossier paid for by the Democratic Committee into the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice and the FBI then used the fake dossier as a basis for a FISA warrant to spy on American citizens. And the reason you know that is because Andrew McCabe, the former deputy director of the FBI, the same Andrew McCabe whose wife got $700,000 from the closest allies to the Clinton family, Andrew McCabe testifies that there would never have been a FISA warrant but for the dossier. That the dossier is the cause.
Congressman Matt Gaetz gets it. All you need is information, an iPhone, an Android, a smartphone, whatever it is. You hit record, you put it out on your social media outlets, you put it out all over the internet, whatever it is, you get that information to the people. Matt Gaetz gets it. That's why he records that video and sends it out to the public. We'll be right back with more. So this memo that comes out today, really, it just has a lot of different angles. It has a lot of open ends, if you will, that need to be answered. Like, how about the fact that you've got a government that can unconstitutionally spy on Americans? You had a President Obama administration that let Hillary Clinton use the federal government to her advantage, basically weaponize the federal government against Trump during the campaign. You have to wonder who made up the story that Trump went to Russia and had hired a couple of prostitutes to engage in disgusting acts in a hotel room. Who made that story up? Some of the questions that got answered, of course, are who funded it? Hillary Clinton, the DNC. Who were the conduits? Perkins Coie, Fusion GPS. And then who cooperated in the investigation to provide this intel to the House committee? But what does it all confirm? President Trump was right. He was wiretapped or surveilled or spied on. So let's flash back and recall how the media reacted to President Trump when he said he just found out Obama had spied on him.
The thing that happens when you make as many wild, unproven claims as Trump does is that the people around you have to do increasingly ridiculous
I'll tell you
claims
what, I got to shut my mic off, otherwise I'm going to get so mad yelling at these frauds.
When White House counselor Kellyanne Conway was asked if she had any proof for Trump's outlandish claim that Obama wiretapped him during the campaign and offered this bizarre answer.
How does he know that his phone was actually tapped?
Let me answer that globally. He's the president of the United States. He has information and intelligence that the rest of us do not.
You know what? Yeah, I'll agree with that. Trump has intelligence that I definitely do not. I agree. Listen, people, one more time. Trump's accusation is ridiculous and pathetic.
He's suggesting a U.S. president enlisted a foreign intelligence service to spy on a political adversary. That is an explosive charge.
This is a serious allegation. This might be the most serious allegation any president has made against a previous president.
But this is a very serious allegation for a sitting president to make about his predecessor.
Trump tweeted, terrible, just found out that Obama had my wires tapped in Trump Tower just before the victory. Nothing found. This is McCarthyism. And the other one, how low has President Obama gone to tap my phones during the very sacred election process? This is Nixon Watergate, bad or sick guy. He said Obama is either a bad or sick guy. Maybe he means him as compliments, like, yeah, man, he's bad. He's a bad guy.
The NSA's deputy director told the BBC it was arrant nonsense, revealing a complete lack of understanding in how the relationship works. And for their part, GCHQ called the accusations utterly ridiculous. And yet, rather than distancing himself from Spicer, Trump decided to back him up.
Are you asking, did I wiretap Donald Trump? Of course, I did it.
How low has President Obama gone to tap my phones during the very sacred election process? This is Nixon/Watergate.
Hello? Hey, Barack. Sorry, we have to investigate you on this wiretapping thing. But you know I didn't do that. I know, but we still have to investigate it. Otherwise, it'll look like I'm just mentally unstable.
The craziest thing about Trump calling for an investigation without any evidence, zero evidence. Trump has not produced a shred of evidence.
There is no evidence for Trump's claims.
The evidence did not come.
So where did Trump get his info? From the CIA? From the FBI?
Where are you getting this information?
From a very reputable source.
What, the FBI, the CIA?
InfoWars. It's a radio show hosted by Alex Jones. You know he's legit.
Well, that pretty much sums it up, doesn't it? That's right. InfoWars was right. Again, you can go back for the last month. I have had 3 documents sitting on my desk. The Epoch Times insurance policy graph breakdown, a flow chart created by our own crew here with a detail of all of the names in it. Again, all of these names were named in the Nunes memo today with the correct web that I had on my desk over a month ago. And we covered the FISA court top secret document that was declassified. Now, who did we just hear from? Seth Meyers, Trevor Noah, Stephen Colbert, SNL, Jimmy Kimmel, John Oliver, and Conan O'Brien. Wrong, 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 wrong. InfoWars, right. Seth Meyers, wrong. Trevor Noah, wrong. Stephen Colbert, wrong. SNL, wrong. Except when they said that InfoWars gives you the right news. They were right about that. Jimmy Kimmel, wrong. John Oliver, wrong. Conan O'Brien, wrong. Fake news saying Trump was never spied on, wrong. CNN, MSNBC, ABC, New York Times, all wrong. Infowars.com, right. Now, here's what I'll say moving forward, because I am hoping that we have audience members today that are not normally with us. Do you see where we're coming from now? Do you see what we do here at InfoWars now? Do you see why we've been telling you for years that all of these fake news hosts have been lying to you, deceiving you, and misinforming you? You know, here's my thing. You know, there's the old saying that goes, if you want to anger a conservative, you tell him a lie. If you want to anger a liberal, you tell him the truth. Well, that continues to ring true. But there's another level to that. See, the reason why I wanted to go into politics as far as a career in media is because when I tuned in to mainstream news, I realized that they were actively engaging in deceiving me. They were trying to keep me misinformed. And you know what that did? That angered me. That really ticked me off. And I'm just wondering when my friends and family are going to understand it and have that same revelation. Because you know, they're sitting here today having to deal with the reality of this memo and all of the evidence that proves everything we said about Obama and Clinton was correct, and that President Trump is draining the swamp just like he said he would. So I'm just curious, when are all of you out there that listen to the liars and the frauds like Seth Meyer, Trevor Noah, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, John Oliver, and Conan O'Brien, when are you going to understand that they have deceived you? When are you going to understand that they've lied to you? When are you going to understand that they've misinformed you? And I'll even go down this road and say, you know what? Let's say that they're not intentionally lying and deceiving you. If you want to go down that road, quit listening to fake news, okay? That's fake news. And if we wanted to, I mean, honestly, if we really wanted to spend time on that, and we don't because we don't need to, but if we wanted to, we could pull the tapes from all the shows that InfoWars has done over the last year where we literally reported on everything that came out in the Nunes memo today. Just like everything else that happens at InfoWars. Tomorrow's news today, next year's news today, next decade's news today. And so here we are. You can throw whatever attack you want at us. It's not going to stick. It's not going to make us any less accurate. It's not going to make us any less cutting edge. So all I'll say as I sign this off, who are you going to trust? Are you going to trust your own eyes and ears? Are you going to trust your own gut instincts? Or are you going to trust a bunch of fake news teleprompter reading ninnies that have been proven right 100 times? Excuse me. Well, how about proven right 0 out of 100 times and proven wrong 100 out of 100 times? CNN, MSNBC, completely wrong. Seth Meyer, Trevor Noah, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, John Oliver, Conan O'Brien, wrong, 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 wrong. Infowars.com, right. Alex Jones, right. David Knight, right. Roger Stone, right. Owen Schroyer, right. Jack Posobiec, right. Mike Cernovich, right. Lionel Media, right. Steve Pachinik, right. Everyone else, wrong. Yeah, you know. The Nunes memo gets declassified. InfoWars gets proven completely right again. And they're going to spin it. And they're going to somehow say that we were wrong. They're going to somehow still say we're conspiracy theorists, even though we just continue to get proven right time and time again. So these stories just come across my desk. Let's start with this from Right Wing Watch. After reading Nunes' memo, Mike Cernovich worries the FBI will execute Alex Jones. Mike Cernovich, a self-described new right media personality who often peddles conspiracy theories, no, he often reports on real news, said that after reading the declassified memo written by Representative Devin Nunes, he wondered if the FBI would kill InfoWars radio host Alex Jones. What, because he told you all of this before the memo came out? Because he's tomorrow's news today? A classified memo that Republicans spent last week hyping as undeniable proof that the national intelligence community worked to undermine President Trump was finally released to the public. Yeah, that's accurate, despite the fact that many conservative media figures have expressed disappointment. Haven't seen that. What media figures have expressed disappointment? Right Wing Watch? Because you don't list them. Amazing. Amazing how you don't even list them. You just make a claim with no proof. Shocking how you guys just continue to do that. Saying that the memo's seeming failure to expose mass corruption, a pro-Trump conspiracy theorist predictably have had a field day. It does expose mass corruption. It's like amazing. They punch you in the mouth, and then you lose, your tooth gets knocked out and you're bleeding, and you're like, okay, so why'd you just punch me in the mouth? I didn't punch you in the mouth. Yeah, this memo is going to prove that the Obama administration was breaking the law and used the Steele dossier that was funded by Hillary Clinton to spy on President Trump. Shut up, conspiracy theorist. Memo comes out, proves just that. Yeah, I told you, conspiracy theorist, that memo wouldn't have anything in it. What are you talking about? It proved everything we said. Yeah, right, you're unhappy, you're discredited. In a live stream video, Mike Cernovich said that reading the memo disturbed him and made him believe the FBI would stop at nothing to frame innocent people for crimes. He then pondered whether the FBI would take steps in the future to frame him or perhaps Jones. Well, absolutely. Oh, you wouldn't even believe some of the stuff that Alex Jones has had to deal with here. Infiltrators. But the funny thing, again, remember what just happened on Law & Order SVU with an episode called InfoWars, where they have a blonde reporter, to me, it's like Millie Weaver, who goes out to face Antifa and then gets raped, and then the court system basically says, we're not going to hear your case, you're a bunch of white supremacist bigots. So, again, though, and then Cernovich cites how they basically entrapped Mike Flynn, they've entrapped all of these other people, they killed Seth Rich, but they're going to pretend like we're upset at this memo coming out, even though it proves us completely 100% correct. And so this is just an example of Mike Cernovich getting it, where it's like they are in full panic mode, they are in full desperation mode, they've been trapped rats, cornered rats, now we've got them hogtied in the corner, so what are they going to do next? Folks, do you understand? I don't think people understand how violent and hateful these people are. And again, let's just tell, I mean, folks, they got access to your personal information, man. And I'm not talking about just the FBI and the NSA or any dirty actors like that in the government. We already knew that. I'm talking about low-level minions of radical left terror groups can get access to your private information via conduits who work at social media companies that have access to all your information. I mean, honestly, I pray every night that God just continues to protect us. And he really has. I mean, he's delivered. Think about it. You had the shooting that happened on the baseball field and I mean, only by God's grace did nobody die. I mean, you could have had 10 Republicans shot and killed that day. Luckily, by God's grace, it didn't happen. You had Rand Paul get beaten in his own front yard. Luckily, that wasn't as bad as it could have been. You had the train that was carrying, even that, I forgot about that. That happened this week. That happened on Wednesday. I mean, every day was something nuts this week. And notice how we get no information about the 3 individuals that were in that pickup truck or the dump truck, whatever it was. Why were 3 individuals sitting on a dump truck on a train track? No questions, no answered, nothing to see here. But again, another example of God's grace protecting people from leftist terrorist violence. I mean, even myself, I mean, we go out on the streets in New York, we get spit at, we get swung on, we have herds of zombies just, and they're like, this guy just spat on us for the 3rd time. Yeah, shut up, racist. It's like, whoa. And then we have to go through it, and we have to continue to work. And they think this is some kind of joke? TheNextWeb.com? Hold on to your tinfoil hat, Alex Jones. YouTube is coming for you. Well, I got news for you, TheNextWeb.com. TheNextWeb.stupid. YouTube's already been coming for us. Project Veritas exposed it months ago. You are late to the party. Oh, I guess you're just confirming what InfoWars has been reporting on for years now. I'm telling you, they are censoring us and sabotaging us harder than ever before every day because we are at a nexus point. We are at the precipice. We are in the height of the war for the republic, of the war for freedom, of the fight for America, of the fight for liberty. Where we shoot a video that's on the Drudge Report for 24 hours, played on the Alex Jones Show, played on the Savage Nation, and it doesn't even get 100,000 views on YouTube. Folks, that is straight up sabotage. That's impossible. A video on the Drudge Report alone for 24 hours gets 1 million views.
This, Owen, I gotta tell you this. Media Matters reposted one of our videos that only had a few thousand views, and they got 1 million.
That's right.
In 45 minutes.
And that was that on their website or on their Twitter?
Just on their Facebook feed.
Oh, that was on their Facebook feed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because Media Matters has so many fans out there. No, they don't. Media Matters has no fans. When do you ever go to any political event and see a Media Matters for America shirt? 0 times. So, I mean, I just, you got the Super Bowl this weekend. It really is nuts out there right now, folks, because they are honestly losing control. If Hillary Clinton goes down, the entire house of cards goes down. If Barack Obama goes down, the progressive liberal movement goes down. And they're falling right now. So what desperate attempt, what desperate action are they going to take to try to prop up their failed heroes, their criminal heroes, their traitor, treasonous heroes, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama? What steps will they take to try to prop them up one last time before they fall on them and crush them? This is Infowars.com War Room. I'm Owen Schroyer. We'll be right back. We've covered a lot of stuff here at Infowars. Myself personally, I've been here for just over 1.5 years. But, I mean, this is probably the biggest, this is the biggest story definitely that I've ever covered. I mean, this has to be the biggest story that anyone's ever covered. This is the biggest story of our lives. And I can't even comprehend it. I can't even fathom it. I'm not even capable of grasping it. I mean, we are talking about high treason, and we knew this was going on. But it's the fact that we've now broken through, and you have FBI agents, congressmen, and the president that are willing to call this out for what it is. So where does it go from here? Well, those guilty know that they cannot escape justice under the current trend. So what are they going to do? I mean, ladies and gentlemen, Bill Clinton would bomb a nation just to distract news headlines from his affair with Monica Lewinsky, okay? These people lied about weapons of mass destruction to send us to war. They lied about the Gulf of Tonkin, a ship being attacked, to send us to war. They lied about what happened to JFK. They lied about what happened on September 11th. You don't think they're going to be so desperate to pull something here as their entire house of cards is about to fall? You better believe it, folks. And with the Super Bowl this weekend, let me just tell you something. The number one targets right now of the deep state are not just patriots and conservatives in media and the government, but also police officers and members of the military. And you've got little Somalia. We love our Somalis. Up there in Minnesota, where the Super Bowl is about to go down. Man, I don't even know. I love being on air. I love broadcasting. I love bringing you the truth. I love fighting the lies and the fake news here at Infowars. I just don't even feel worthy at this point. Only God, honestly, can do anything about this. And I hope that Trump has it in his heart and in his soul and in his will to go full bore against the treasonous psychopaths that infiltrated our government over the course of the last 2, 3, 4, 5 decades. And he has to go full bore, and he has to do it now. The more air these people have to breathe, the longer their life is to be free without going to jail, the more endangered this planet is, this country is, President Trump is, patriots are, you are. So, I don't know. Let's just go to these clips. I've been telling you this for a while. You've got social media. I mean, they're all trying. This is the American Revolution, folks. CNN doesn't want it to happen. MSNBC doesn't want it to happen. The Clintons don't want it to happen. Obama doesn't want it to happen. The Democrats don't want it to happen. They hate America. They want there to be a one-world government, and America cannot exist if there's a one-world government. So they censor us on Facebook. They censor us on YouTube. They censor us on Twitter. They censor us on Google. They also censor the president. Or is it a glitch? CNN cuts live feed of Trump giving a speech yesterday.
We also have America. So we're putting America first. We're putting it over other countries. And I always say, because it's an arrogance thing, I say to them, you're going to put your company and country first, but we are putting our country and our companies, jobs, we're putting them first. No longer are we going to...
So there was the CNN feed just blacking out and cutting out in the middle of Trump's speech. And that CNN that is so desperate for ratings, they need Donald Trump. But they cannot let the American people hear Trump's message of unity and individualism and nationalism, because they know that that is a winning message that resonates with most people. So CNN just acts like it doesn't exist. And this isn't the first time we've seen outlets doing this. Here is a flashback of Reuters cutting a feed as Trump is being blessed.
When a woman who had the issue of blood said that I can only touch
this is President Trump at a church about to be blessed.
Nothing else could help her but the power of God. There's going to be some times in your life that you're going to feel forsaken. You're going to feel down. But the anointing is going to lift you up. I prayed over this personally, and I fasted over it. And I want to just put this on you now. And this is the Jewish Heritage Study Bible. And we have it especially for you, and we have one for your wife. Thank you. Because when things go down, you can study the Word of God. When things seem like it's almost impossible, you'll read Mark 9:23, if thou canst believe.
And then you can hear the cameraman being told to shut it down, and then Reuters shuts it down. And that's not the only time. CNN and MSNBC are famous for doing that. In fact, Trump's speeches got so popular and were resonating so much with the American people, they just quit showing them. Even though it would get mass ratings, even though Trump's speeches are the only time MSNBC and CNN could compete with Fox for ratings was when Trump was speaking, they still wouldn't show it because they cannot let the American people know the truth about Trump. They cannot let the American people have a third great awakening. They cannot let the American people have another revolution. Let's go to President Trump now, saying that what has been revealed in the memo is a disgrace, guys. Let's go ahead and roll clip 14. Here's President Trump saying what revealed in the memo is a disgrace.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it's terrible. You want to know the truth? I think it's a disgrace. What's going on in this country, I think it's a disgrace. The memo was sent to Congress. It was declassified. Congress will do whatever they're going to do. But I think it's a disgrace what's happening in our country. And when you look at that, And you see that and so many other things, what's going on. A lot of people should be ashamed of themselves, and much worse than that. So I sent it over to Congress. They will do what they're going to do. Whatever they do is fine. It was declassified. And let's see what happens. But a lot of people should be ashamed. Thank you very much.
Are you not concerned that the FBI doesn't want the memo out?
Thank you very much.
Does it make you more likely to fire Rosenstein? Do you still have confidence in him after reading the memo?
You figure that one out.
Well, I will say, President Trump, this is more than just a disgrace. This is evidence of treason. I just honestly, because what else am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to say here for 3 hours that I haven't told you for the last 3 months that didn't come out in this memo today? This shouldn't even be a show. This was tweeted out by our crew member Harrison Smith. United States Code Title 18, Part 1, Chapter 115, seditious conspiracy. If 2 or more persons conspire to overthrow, put down, or to destroy by force the government of the United States, they shall each be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 20 years or both. Huh. Sounds like Hillary Clinton. Sounds like Barack Obama. Sounds like Christopher Steele. I guess he's not an American, so I guess he doesn't qualify. This is just nuts, folks. We've got high treason. Everybody should be mad about this. Oh, patience. Patience, Lord. So I've got these clips I'm going to play here, and I'm going to try not to have my head explode off my shoulders. And then the crew is going to try to find a Nancy Pelosi clip where she says, A, that Nunes doctored the memo before he released it. No, he just fixed grammatical errors. And then she says that it endangers the public and violates the rules of Congress. I'm trying not to get mad right now. I've told the audience I'm not going to yell as much, but folks, we are talking about high treason, and we're talking about people like Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff and the rest of the liars in the Democrat Party rushing to defend treasonous behavior, and then take it one step further, say that the people exposing the treason are the guilty parties. Nothing ticks me off more. Let's just roll clip 8. Here's clip 8. Another Democrat just lying to you about this memo.
It's also the FBI that never disclosed that Donald Trump and his campaign was
Richard Blumenthal is a piece of human trash.
There were all these disclosures, as Joe has rightly said, about the Clinton campaign, which probably very seriously damaged her chances of winning. But the fact that...
Oh, my God. I mean, look at this. Pause it right there. See... So here we get the memo released that documents how the Clinton campaign colluded with President Obama to stop President Trump from winning. And this dirtbag, Richard Blumenthal, goes on MSNBC and says, clearly we've got evidence that everything that happened to Hillary Clinton during the campaign kept her from winning. I mean, I don't know what to say, folks. I don't know what to tell you. Richard Blumenthal is a lying piece of trash. Hillary Clinton is guilty as sin. Why are the Democrats continuing to carry water for the Clinton crime syndicate? Why are the Democrats continuing to hold water for Obama and Clinton, who aren't even in government anymore? Why? Why is Blumenthal here lying for Hillary Clinton? Why is Blumenthal here lying for Barack Obama? Are you blackmailed, sir? Are you guilty of something, sir? Why are you lying to my face? This is going to be tough to get through, guys, so just bear with me. Richard Blumenthal, piece of human trash. It gets proven that Hillary Clinton did everything she could, including using the power of the federal government at President Obama's behest to try to stop President Trump from winning, made up salacious attacks against him, and spied on him. And this dirtbag, this human dirt, is going to tell you the exact opposite happened. Go ahead and finish the clip of the human dirt.
the Russians in their meddling was under investigation never was disclosed. I think a lot of the statements that Donald Trump has made in connection with the release of the Nunes memo may well come back to haunt him.
Oh my gosh, I tell you.
Because what we're seeing is
the highest tree! The highest tree!
In real time, right?
Let's go to clip 5. They're not going to stop. The Democrats won't stop. This is Democrat Jim Himes lying to the public now.
Congressman Himes, you heard Congressman Goodlatte defend the release of the memo. I'm wondering how you respond.
Well, Anderson, it's painful for me to watch an otherwise honorable man like Chairman Goodlatte trade his historical legacy as he retires in order to cheerlead the second-rate hit job, which the American public is about to see is precisely that. I listened to the chairman say things that simply weren't true, like the fact that he alleged that this had been underway for a long time. The committee members, Republican and Democrat alike, saw that memo for the very first time 2 weeks ago when we were asked to vote to release it to the broader
That's not even
Congress.
true.
This was not the product of an
these guys just lie. They literally can't even tell you the truth.
The Intelligence Committee. And again, very soon, if this memo is made public, people who are implicated in it and institutions that are implicated in it will quickly rise to their own defense, and the public will see what it's done.
Yeah. Is that why Andrew McCabe cooperated with the investigation?
Discredit the Russia investigation because, I mean, again, according to our reporting, the president believes...
Discredit the Russian... Pause it right there. Pause it right there. Yeah. Discredit the Russia investigation. Look at these two clowns. Look at these two soy boy clowns. For a year and a half, Anderson Cooper, for a year and a half, you have been telling us about Russian collusion. You have given us zero evidence. Zero. Because that's what you are, a zero. And that's what Himes is, a zero. Finish the clip of the liars.
Associates or friends that he believes it could be.
Well, it's interesting that the president is saying that, but Paul Ryan, the Speaker of the House, is saying exactly the opposite, which is that this will
not
in no
true
way
again.
intersect with
See, this is what they do. Pause it again. They twist these words. Paul Ryan never said that. What Paul Ryan said was that this does not indict the FBI. Paul Ryan said that this Nunes memo does not indict the entire FBI, and so they take it and spin it and say, well, Paul Ryan says it's not true. It's not what he said, you piece of crap. Excuse me, finish the clip.
The Mueller investigation, I would side with the Speaker on that. I've read the memo. I've studied it very closely. It makes absolutely no mention of Bob Mueller or of the Russia investigation. Again, it
tells us the reason for the Russia investigation. Look at this liar. Get this liar off the screen. Just get him off. I'm done with him. I'm done with him. I can't handle it. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. Andrew McCabe, right here. You piece of trash. I mean, I'm sorry, folks. I'm really losing it today. This is out of control. Directly from the memo, Deputy Director McCabe testified before the committee in December 2017 that no surveillance warrant would have been sought from the FEISC without the Steele dossier information. Do you get it, Jim Himes? Do you get it? Are you that stupid or are you that corrupt? Those are the only two streets that you get to go down, buddy. Either stupid or corrupt. My guess is both. But he's going to sit here and, oh, well, this doesn't mention anything about the Russia investigation. They're going to say this discredits the Russia investigation, but it doesn't even mention the Russia investigation. Well, what is the foundation of the Russia investigation? The Steele dossier, which the memo says was never corroborated, and McCabe said was the entire reason behind spying on Trump. But you know what it is at CNN? They think that you're so stupid, and they think that their audience is so dumb that they can tell you that the grass is blue, the sky is green, water is dry, and that you will believe it. Now let's go to one more from CNN. I hope my head doesn't explode. I think it's on the verge. Let's go to clip number 10, Brian Kareem, questioning whether America can survive the release of the memo.
You heard my point, right? It's like Speaker Ryan
Pause it right
says,
there.
No.
These people hate America. These people hate America. They leave the chamber when they chant USA. They don't stand for Americans working again. They don't stand for American economy taking off. They hate it, the fact that we're uncovering the corruption in the government. So these people hate America on their face, and then they tell you they're worried that the memo could whether America could survive the memo when they want to destroy America. Go to the clip.
Now, this doesn't affect the Mueller investigation when what we're hearing from the president is, oh, yes. This should, discredit it.
And you're hearing from the FBI. That's the most disingenuous piece of verbiage I've heard yet today. This is a tipping point for our democracy. Are we going to be a democracy after today, or is this going to be demagoguery and
pause it right there. Brian. Brian. Do you realize that the FBI and the CIA, and just go down the line, the NSA, all of these alphabet bureaucracies, they aren't in the Constitution. They aren't in America. They can be wiped out tomorrow and America still survives because we, the people, are America. The Congress is the United States government, not the FBI, not the CIA. So yeah, you can get rid of the FBI and that's perfectly fine because it's probably unconstitutional to begin with. Now let's go back to this guy who seems a little confused here, Brian Kareem.
The simple fact of the matter is he talks about transparency. And this is an administration that hasn't had a solo press conference in a year. They haven't had a press briefing in the last week and a half.
This is the most transparent president in the history of America. He has meetings with live television rolling. I'm just...
And by the way, if you're going to be transparent, then you release the Democratic version of it as well. You release all of it.
Oh, yeah, they will, too. Oh, don't worry. You'll get it on Monday.
This isn't transparency. This is obfuscation. This is disingenuousness. This is simply and nothing else but a power play. A demagogue pushing back against the Democratic
I don't know why I'm so upset. This is actually, you know what this is? This is victory. This is victory. This is absolute victory. They are totally collapsing. I'm sorry I get so upset when people lie to my face. That's just a human reaction that I have. Well, Nancy Pelosi doesn't even know what planet she's on, but yet somehow she's going to try to be the voice of reason as far as this Nunes memo is concerned, which, by the way, Nancy Pelosi called President Trump President Bush at least 5 times last year. Well, she's at it again, as she has now called President Trump Bush again, even though Bush hasn't been in office for almost 10 years. Nancy Pelosi, oh, God. These people are so sick. God, please just get these people off from over on top of us. I mean, it's just what Nancy... So let's go to Nancy Pelosi here, trying to tell you that the Nunes memo is going to endanger America.
First of all, it's a bogus memo. It's not based on
it's a bogus memo. It's a bogus memo.
Reference highly classified intelligence matters. Now we see that he's even altered the memo, so to make matters worse. If
altered the memo.
Release that memo, he would not only be endangering our country, but he would also be violating the rules of the Congress of the United States.
She just lied to you for the entire clip there. 25 seconds of lies from Nancy Pelosi. Please, God, please, God, please, God, remove these people from our government. I don't know how much longer I can take Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, Adam Schiff, Ted Lieu, Eric Swalwell, Chuck Schumer. I mean, honestly, folks. Now, I want to go to this clip because I don't know what the word for it is. Schoolyard justice, old school justice, Old Testament justice. You've probably seen this clip, but I want to play it now because I kind of pose it with a question. What is schoolyard justice? And we won't get into it, but what is schoolyard justice for Barack Obama? What is schoolyard justice for Hillary Clinton? What is schoolyard justice for Nancy Pelosi? What would the schoolyard justice be for those treasonous liars that I just mentioned? So here's a clip of a father who had 3 of his daughters sexually abused by Larry Nassar. That's the story, that Larry Nassar was apparently abusing the entire women's Olympics team. I mean, you really have to wonder how that goes on. More than 150 girls this guy was apparently sexually abusing. I mean, it's like, how does that happen? But here's the father of 3 of them who tries to take a moment of schoolyard justice into his own hands.
I would ask you to, as part of this sentencing, to grant me 5 minutes in a locked room with this demon.
I have
Would you do that?
That is not how
yes
our...
or no?
No, sir, I can't.
Would you give me
that.
1 minute?
You know that I can't do that. That's not how our legal system...
Well, I'm going to have to...
And there he goes and he attacks the guy. Now, this is what I have a problem with. Why are the police officers beating the hell out of this guy now? To me, this is ridiculous right here. I understand that you can't let him lunge at the guy who just allegedly sexually assaulted over 150 girls. You know, we have to protect him. You know, don't let him. But then you have 5 people jump on this father and pin him down and arrest him. I mean, see, this is what I'm talking about. You know what? I'm just so sick of political correctness. I'm so sick of people who can't just have common sense. The guy is obviously mad that that man assaulted his 3 daughters, as well as over hundreds of other women. And he's the one that gets his face shoved into the ground and beaten up by police officers. 5 people have to jump on him. All you had to do was pull him away from the guy and remove him from the courtroom. But no, they got to pin him down. They got to shove their knee into his back. They got to put their elbow onto his forehead. All 5 of them have to pile on. But this serial assaulter over here, he gets away. No schoolyard justice for him. Yeah, until he gets to jail. We'll see what happens to him there. So I'm saying it's time for some schoolyard justice, baby. What would schoolyard justice for Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton be? And then all of these fakers like Nancy Pelosi and Eric Swalwell and Ted Lieu who are standing up for them. I'm sick of all of them. Here we are. That is the sound of the American Revolution, folks. Yeah, you know what? Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and James Comey and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and the like, they are the redcoats. They are the British. They are the tyrants. They are the fascists. They are the Nazis. And I'm sorry that it's just in my blood to stomp them out of existence. It's in my blood. It's in my DNA. Can't help it. And you know what? I bet it's in yours too. And I bet I'm not the only one that's so fired up today that we know that you have people like Obama and Hillary Clinton engaging in high treason, and all of America should be shouting at the top of a mountain, lock them up. But because of the brainwashing fake news media, they have half the population conditioned into laying down, being soy boys, being soy girls, not fighting for themselves, not fighting for their future, not fighting for the republic, but just doing what feels right in the moment. Well, I got news for you. It's not going to feel right in the end when you lose your country, you lose your prosperity, and you lose your manifest destiny. And without further ado, I bring my heart rate down and bring in Jerome Corsi. Dr. Corsi, I know that you're probably a little more level-headed than I am here today, but I got to tell you, to me, this is all the evidence that we needed. It confirms everything that we reported, and Obama and Clinton and everybody colluding here against President Trump is guilty of treason by my measurement.
Well, Owen, I've been listening to you, and I agree with everything you've said. I think you're right on. And if you feel a little excited about it, I understand that, because we've had the lies for a long time. And what this Nunes memo did is it laid out facts that I know to be correct. I mean, we've written about them. We've documented it in InfoWars. This actually just follows the exact documentation that we've laid out, that the Department of Justice and the FBI lied to the FISA court, and omissions are a lie, and it's their responsibility to tell the truth. They did not tell the FISA court that the entire request to have electronic surveillance on Donald Trump was based on opposition research that had been paid by Hillary Clinton and the DNC, written by Christopher Steele, British intelligence, who admittedly hated Trump, and the FBI knew it. None of this information was disclosed to the FISA court. Without this information, the wiretapping or electronic surveillance would never have been approved. And it's clear that the electronic surveillance based on this lie continued not only during the election to rig the election for Hillary, but after the election through the transition to try to overturn a duly constituted election and a vote taken by the Electoral College. That's sedition and treason. And even into the Trump presidency, this electronic surveillance apparently continued based on the 99-page memo that we have from the FISA court, which also rebukes the Department of Justice and the FBI from this. But all the reporting that we've done at InfoWars that Alex Jones has led has in fact now been confirmed by this Nunes memo. And the Nunes memo is, the Democrats don't understand, this is now out of the court of spin. This is not public relations. This is going to get solved by facts and lawyers, and Hillary and Obama and their little treasonous plot are going to be exposed and have to face justice, along with the FBI, the DOJ, and all their co-conspirators.
So would you say that this is really just the beginning?
Again, I completely agree with you, Owen. This is just the beginning. The Senate Judiciary Committee announced tonight it too is going to release its findings on the Fusion GPS dossier, lying dossier, on Christopher Steele and the FBI's use of this. We still have the Inspector General's report to come out with much more information about the text messages exchanged between Strozik and Page, in which apparently they, really discussed a way to overturn the election with this insurance on the Fusion GPS and Russian narrative, which is entirely now a lie, and undermines Mueller's investigation. This is just the first shoe to drop, and to see how far behind the curve the Democrats are, I'm amazed to see Schiff and Nancy Pelosi begging for the release of the report that, that Schiff has written in the House Intelligence Committee. I encourage them to release it because lawyers will go through this. I'll go through it. The factual basis of what the Democrats say is not going to be there to sustain. They can't deny the Fusion GPS dossier was used. We want to see the exact representations made to the Fusion court, which are classified. Let's declassify those too. Nunes and the Republicans saw them, and I trust their report of them. Now, if the Democrats want to lie further, I would really advise Comey to stop tweeting and consult either his attorneys or his psychiatrist.
Yeah, I can't believe what Comey is tweeting out as he's being exposed as being totally corrupt and inept. He's tweeting out like he's some sort of hero, these inspirational messages. It's like, dude, why don't you follow your own advice? But, real quick, you mentioned the text messages with Stroke and Page. QAnon has alluded to perhaps assassination talk being in those messages, but we'll get to that in the next segment. First, though, let's stay with this.
I do want to do that because I think
we will. We will. I promise you we will. But
right.
I want to get take care of a few more things here before we do that. One, why do you think the Democrats like Booker and Swalwell and Schiff and Pelosi, why are they all rushing to the coverage of Obama and Clinton, who aren't even in politics anymore? They're not in government. They're not in the Democrat Party. Why are they all rushing to their defense?
And again, this is an excellent question. On first of all, the Democrats today are in utter panic, total disarray, total panic. The mainstream media, MSNBC, all of these, and now they've all got to be worried about this again. Operation Mockingbird and being exposed by the CIA, paying them with talking points going out at 4 a.m. So they all say the same thing. Watch it. Flip between MSNBC, CNN, listen to Nancy Pelosi, listen to Adam Schiff. They're saying the same words. This has been an attack prepared, counterattack prepared by the CIA and the Democrats. All they've got left is to try to support and rally the wagons and the flags around Hillary and Obama. That's going to take them down. We've got so much evidence against Hillary's corruption. We haven't even begun into the email scandal and Weiner's laptop, uranium, this whole Uranium One controversy and all the involvement of Mueller there. That's still on the books, being investigated. The Clinton Foundation, Haiti, the robbing of maybe $2 billion, and Clinton and Hillary intervening to support a woman who was charged with human trafficking, taking small children across the border.
Yep.
I mean, this is just beginning. But today was a game changer because now it's entered the legal realm. Now you can bet all the lawyers who are representing defendants are going to file motions to have their cases with Mueller dismissed. Flynn's case, his conviction should be vacated. The indictment against Manafort ought to be vacated. We've got issues with the Fourth Amendment and the fruit of the poisonous tree based upon false applications of the FISA court and electronic surveillance. These people were indicted in cases that use that information. And also, by the way, we're now up to President Obama using this information, expanding the wiretapping, and
getting the daily briefings. Obama was with it the whole way. He knew about it this whole time. I mean, this is the highest levels of government. The office of president, folks, treason. We caught them. I want them all locked up. And keep this in mind. They have been spying on President Trump, having this Russian investigation. Zero evidence still. Over 2 years of spying, no evidence. The Daily Caller just publishes this. Former judge Orr and Comey could be held in contempt of court for misrepresentations. Of course, Dr. Corsi alluded to that in the last segment with us here on the War Room. We're going to put the memo aside for a second and get into QAnon. Dr. Corsi has been breaking that down and covering all of it. QAnon went kind of wild over the weekend and this week with about 20 posts. Dr. Corsi, what is the latest that we're getting from QAnon, and what is your analysis of that?
Well, I want to start with, first of all, a shout out to I've been on this live stream. If you go to @CBTS_stream, and it's been on YouTube. I've been posting it on Twitter so people can follow us. This group, Calm Before the Storm, @CBTS_stream, has been running a 24-hour live stream and doing an excellent job. I've been on it all day today. QAnon, I'd like to point out that QAnon has been extremely accurate. On the 21st of January, QAnon in a post said, #Memo actually demonstrates, quote, knowingly false intel, unquote, provided to FISA judges to obtain warrants. Now, that's it's January 21st. We're here looking at this on February 2nd. QAnon knew from that point what was going to be in the Nunes memo. He also knew how extremely devastating it was going to be. That this was going to Memo demonstrates collusion at the highest levels. Memo factually demonstrates Hussein, his Obama administration, weaponized the intelligence community to ensure Hillary's victory, Democratic victory, and to provide insurance just in case Trump won. That's sedition. That's treason. That's a plan to overturn a duly constituted presidential election. The intelligence community, and remember, this Fusion GPS was an intelligence community created document that involved the British Christopher Steele, who wrote it, who now admits and did admit to hating Trump, was the head of the Russian desk for MI6 in Great Britain, working with our intelligence community, working with the FBI paying him. The Democrats, Hillary's campaign and the Democrats paying Fusion GPS and Christopher Steele to write this lying memo through Perkins Coie, the law firm that represented Obama in the birth certificate. And by the way, Eric Schmidt has some problems. He funded the Fusion. He funded first the CrowdStrike, which was the first to say Russia was involved in the theft of the DNC memos, and then
who won't turn over the servers.
And they won't turn over the servers. And so QAnon was right on saying that this memo shifts the narrative. And now we're going into the legal phase. The Democrats can spin on their tops all day long. But the point is, lawyers are now going to be in charge. And lawyers are going to go after Rosenstein. They're going to go after the others mentioned, even just for the defendants who are being investigated by Mueller, and they're going to get their cases dismissed. There could be RICO charges filed here against these lawyers. The Democrats can spin all they want, but the fact is we now know that the FBI and the DOJ lied to the FISA court, which is a crime. And so there are individuals within the DOJ and the FBI who are now criminally, I believe, liable.
And they can be held in contempt of court. And you already had Andrew McCabe, which I kind of saw this coming. It looks like Andrew McCabe cooperated and even turned into Tweety Bird when he was being questioned. So it'll be interesting to see how much more information he shares. But real quick, let's go back to QAnon and some other postings where QAnon is talking about the train wreck that was carrying the Republican members of Congress was a false flag. And this is part of the deep state panic right now, doing threats, giving false flags to try to intimidate Trump and the Patriots from actually removing the shadow government from power.
Yeah, it predicted we'd have fast flags to try to change the narrative. And I think it, by the way, makes me concerned about the security of the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
It's got to be super tight. But the most recent of the QAnon posts have been saying essentially that warning us that this is, Freedom Day, which we just had this week. Freedom Day is prefigured, but President Trump pointed to the statue on top of the dome of the Capitol, talked about Freedom Day. Yes, the picture you're posting, which Q pointed to, that train looks like it was rammed by the truck trying to derail the train. And I'm still maintaining that needs to be investigated as a false flag attack. The truck was not hit squarely by the train on the rail.
Yeah, it hit the back end, and you only had one of the three guys in the truck die, which again, why are three guys in the truck to begin with? None of it makes sense.
None of it makes sense. And what you're basically getting from QAnon is the two things. One is that President Trump is in charge, and QAnon has been predicting accurately everything about this memo and what's coming next. And what's coming next is ultimately going to lead to sedition and treason charges against Hillary and against Obama. All of the electronic surveillance, we have now proof that false pretenses were used for the Democrats to basically take over the Justice Department and the FBI, and to use it to have electronic surveillance on the GOP candidate, not just up through the election, into the transition. And it looks like even when Trump was in the White House, all trying to get him removed from office in a coup d'etat. This is the greatest, I think, constitutional crisis that we've ever had in the United States, maybe since the Civil War. I mean, this is really testing the democracy. The democracy is only going to be tested if these people are brought to justice. The Adam Schiff spin is not going to save the Democrats now because it's out of the MSNBC court. The lawyers are going to take over, and the lawyers are going to prove the case.
No, I think you're absolutely right. If you want to talk about saving the democracy, yes, the democracy and the republic is at a nexus point right now, and the only way to save it is to arrest and indict Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and the likes for this treasonous act of trying to overthrow a duly elected president. First trying to stop him from winning, then illegally spying on him, then trying to overthrow him afterwards. And, just real quick, we've got 1 minute left here, Dr. Corsi. Do you think, or will there ever be an investigation into the actual claims made in the Trump dossier, the fake dossier? Is anyone going to try to figure out who made that up, whose idea that was? Because to me, that's blatant libel.
We already pretty well know Christopher Steele made it up, and I've gone.
So it was his brainchild.
Yes, and I want to put you showing.
Was he
pictures.
Drunk when he made it up? I mean, what is that?
It was so bizarre. I mean, is so pathetically juvenile. You showed pictures of Steve King and Louis Gohmert and others, including Jim Jordan. These are real heroes. And the other real heroes are the Anons on the 8chans, the Anons on the calm before the stream /underscore a stream. The Anons, like in the first American Revolution,
And let's not forget, too, about
these are the heroes.
Yeah, and let's not forget, too, about the people in the FBI and the DOJ and the CIA that are actually good people that have been trying to expose this as well. Dr. Corsi, thank you for your great work at Infowars.com. We'll be right back. All right, we've got a lot of news that I've got to blitz through here in the final 2 segments of the War Room, so let me get right to it. This is from Infowars.com, Paul Joseph Watson. FISA memo confirms surveillance of Trump campaign was based on dodgy Steele dossier. That's right. Everything that we reported on, we told you that dossier was the reason they were spying. We told you the dossier was made up. Once again, Infowars is next year's news today. Also on Infowars.com from Kit Daniels, Memo destroys fake news claim Trump never spied on. Oh, that's right. And we played the clip earlier today. The mainstream media, the fake news, the late-night TV hosts all made fun of Trump, saying, oh, you weren't spied on, you're fake news. Ooh, he was spied on, that's confirmed, and you are actually the fake news. CNN, MSNBC, Stephen Colbert, Trevor Noah, John Oliver. Trump vaults to 49% approval rating among likely voters as post-State of the Union glow gives him best numbers since last June. And I expect these numbers to rise as the job numbers are going up as well. So there you go. Trump gets a popularity jolt from his State of the Union. How about this one? Now, the stock market's basically tanked all week. I thought it would go the other way. I was wrong. But today, Dow falls 666 points. How about that number? The Dow falls 666 points today, the worst week for the Dow in 2 years. So I think, well, I've actually heard a theory that they think this is a deep state controlled crash to try to intimidate Trump, saying, we'll crash the stock market unless you ease up. We'll see how that goes. I do think, though, there is some organic move to this where people are nervous for the state of the future of this republic. I mean, rightfully so. I mean, look, we just had high treason exposed at the highest levels of our government, so you could understand why there might be some hesitation in the markets. The DNC, this is from The Week, the DNC is reportedly dead broke. How do you like that? The DNC is dead broke. Still think they're going to win seats in Congress in the upcoming midterms, huh? Good luck with that. Many questions surround Justin Timberlake's Super Bowl halftime show. Yeah, apparently all of his videos now, he has a new album out. All of his videos are like Illuminati. In fact, there's one video where he's literally worshiping an Illuminati pyramid. I don't know if you guys have it up. Don't worry about it if you don't. But anyway, Justin Timberlake releases a new video where they're literally worshiping a Illuminati pyramid. But let's not forget, Justin Timberlake was the one that exposed Janet Jackson's breast to the world. That was before YouTube, in the most TiVo'd moment in television history. And apparently Janet Jackson's back too. So there you go. This is from BuzzFeed. How about this one? The publisher of Newsweek and the International Business Times has been buying and engaging in ad fraud. Several of Newsweek Media Group's business websites are buying and manipulating traffic that originates on pirated video streaming sites. The company has admitted to buying traffic but denies engaging in fraud. So Newsweek admits that they're buying traffic, so that's fraudulent traffic, but then denies engaging in ad fraud? Newsweek, you just admitted to engaging in ad fraud right before you denied engaging in ad fraud. Madame President from Newsweek. Now, this was a story that was written by Emily Chang of Bloomberg, published on Vanity Fair. Oh my God, this is so effed. Inside Silicon Valley's secretive, orgiastic dark side. So basically she goes and she talks about this tech left, tech elite, elite West Coast parties, how they're all sex-laced, drug-laced, just wild extravaganzas of orgies and everything. And her twist is how it's just basically out to screw women, which, of course, and I actually like Emily Chang. I don't have any problem with her reporting. She does good tech news. But the reason I wanted to cover this is because, again, InfoWars has been reporting this for years. For years, Alex Jones has been telling you that they have orgy parties, devil worship parties, sex parties. It's all the rage. These people are degenerates. They're separated from God. So I'm not mad at Emily Chang. It's actually a good story talking about the depravity that goes on in these stories. But know who runs the tech left, know who the tech left is, and understand that Alex Jones told you about this years ago because we know this is going on. This is from the Weekly Standard. Inside a public school social justice factory, the city of Edina has changed the way it approaches public education, putting social justice above learning. The results will shock you. Well, no, they won't shock you, because it went from the gold standard and the best school district in Minnesota now to the worst. One of the worst. That's because they don't actually, here it is. The shift began in 2013 when Edina school leaders adopted the All for All strategic plan, a sweeping initiative that reordered the district mission from academic excellence to racial equity. So yeah, whenever you are a school and you decide that your mission is not academic excellence, your school will suffer. Congratulations, social justice warriors. You just continue to suck and mess everything else up. Kathy Zhu, at Political Kathy, you may follow her on Twitter, conservative, goes to her campus, Central Florida University, and sees a booth from the Office of Student Involvement that says try on a hijab day. And it says, my hijab empowers me. My hijab is misunderstood. And so she takes a picture and she's like, I don't agree with this. And she tweets about it. The school is trying, or the liberals at the school are trying to suspend her for speaking the truth about what hijabs are. The school, well, the school probably won't suspend her, but the liberals and the Muslims want her suspended from school because she tweeted out a picture that was unbecoming or disagreeing with the empowering hijab. But then here's this: Iran arrests 29 women as headscarf protests intensify. So the women who are forced to wear hijabs in Iran are protesting against it oppressing women, but in America, brainwashed liberals think the hijab is empowering. Wow. This is from the AP. More loving Islam. Leading Islamic scholar in France is now in custody because of rape claims. We love our Somalis. This is insane. From 17 magazine, this realistic vagina manicure is exactly what I needed today. Oh, wait, I forgot though. I forgot. So not only are they making nails that look like vaginas, folks, you can't make that stuff up. You know what? Somebody come in here and slap me. Bring him in. Let me read the headline. This realistic vagina manicure is exactly what I needed today. But anyway, you go and you look at the story. They have a Rip Trump and a Rip Alex Jones. They're selling nail polish that says R.I.P. Trump and R.I.P. Alex Jones. You think we're joking when that we tell you they want us dead. They want us dead, folks. New porn laws from the Metro. New porn laws will mean Pornhub asks for your name and address. Again, see, this is why I'm so glad I'm not into this like internet social media stuff. All of your information is out there, folks. Do not trust anyone with your personal information anymore. You can't trust anyone with it. I'm telling you, all this stuff can be compromised. All right, folks, we need you to support us. We are being sabotaged. We are being censored, but we want to expand. We want to get more studios. We want to get more hosts. We want to get more shows. We want to be live for 20 hours a day. We're building the studios, but we need your support at InfoWarsStore.com. So, great specials right now at InfoWarsStore.com. Pollen Block is 50% off for seasonal distress. Pollen Block, 50% off. Cellforce, 53% off. How about the Mind and Body Combo Pack? That's Brain Force Plus and Vitamin Mineral Fusion. If you're the type of individual that kind of has a slow morning, a foggy morning, this is the perfect combo pack for you at 40% off. You get Brain Force Plus and Vitamin Mineral Fusion. You wake up in the morning, mix up your Vitamin Mineral Fusion drink, take your Brain Force. That brain fog is going to be gone like that. You'll forget what brain fog even felt like the minute you chase Brain Force with your vitamin mineral fusion. A powerful combo right now at InfoWarsStore.com for 40% off. Folks, please support us. Help us expand. There's a reason why InfoWars is on the cutting edge, because we have the courage to be there. InfoWars.com is how you support us. You stay classy, InfoWarriors.
This is Jake Lloyd for Infowars.com. I'm here at Black Security Products, LLC, one of the companies placing a bid to work on Trump's wall in the coming year whenever the construction actually starts. And I'm here with Stephen Nash, the owner of the business. And what we're going to talk about is the city of Austin is voting on a resolution tonight to will effectively prevent the city from offering contracts to any businesses that place a bid on the wall. So, Mr. Nash, what is your understanding of the resolution, and how would it affect a business like yours that places a bid?
Well, my understanding is that the city of Austin doesn't want to work with any company that has any association with the wall, hence working with the federal government. How will it affect us? If they get what they want, they won't be able to, or they won't purchase from us. I don't know if that'll work because we could protest on discrimination points of, we work with the federal government. So you're essentially making a law saying we can't work with our biggest customer and our own government. So I don't know where it'll go, but if they don't give us work, then obviously we'd lose business and they would lose security.
So we actually spoke to a lawyer that is kind of a contributor to InfoWars, and basically what he said is that this may or may not be legal for them to do, but even if it is legal, they probably will no longer be eligible for federal tax dollars in future things. That is, the city of Austin may not be able to. So how many other businesses could this affect, or are you the only business in Austin, to your knowledge, that's bid on the wall?
To my knowledge, I'm the only company in Austin that's bid on the wall. But when you talk about bids, a lot of it's, sealed, so you don't know who all's bidding on it. But from the competitors I know of, I'm the only one in Austin. But I'm also the only one in Austin that provides anti-terrorism force protection products for the federal government and for any agency for that matter. And so if the city government doesn't want to do work with me, then they'll be losing out on anti-terrorism force protection. We have proposed on different things for the city. One was putting up pedestrian barriers for the Gay Pride Parade and other things. And we also have done work for the VA here in Capitol. But if they don't want to work with us, then they're actually hurting themselves, I would think. And soliciting bids for security, they award it to the technically acceptable lowest price proposal. So if I'm technically acceptable and I'm the lowest price proposal, and they're saying, no, we Googled you and saw that you bid on the border wall, or however they're going to do it. I don't know if they're going to add to their RFPs a checkbox asking the question if you've worked with the border wall in any way, but however they figure that out and they decide not to award us work, that's only hurting themselves, because then they have to go to the next proposal, which is more expensive than ours, and pay a premium and cost people money there. But then on the same token, us being the only security company in Austin that does this type of work, are they saying that they don't want to secure people and facilities here because of their anger about the wall? It doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah, it kind of goes along with the the sanctuary city status that Austin has attempted to adopt, which, as you've seen in San Francisco and other sanctuary cities, has sacrificed the lives of American citizens in order to push a political agenda or just to give a middle finger to Trump. And it shows that now they're not only willing to sacrifice security, but they're willing to sacrifice citizens' livelihoods. And my understanding is that it's been pretty limited outreach from the media trying to cover this stuff. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's been primarily local media. It's covered at Statesman and some others, but I think the only national media that, well, Telemundo asked to have an interview with me. I would turn that down, but and then BBC did a small one. Yeah.
And I would imagine that, from what I can see, this seems to be purely a politically motivated interference in the free market, just because it's pretty obvious that the city of Austin and a lot of local officials are anti-Trump. Is there any message or just any kind of message that you want to get out to the people about these types of attacks on citizens' freedom of movement, association, and things of that nature?
Well, yeah, it's ridiculous just to discriminate against a company saying, hey, if you work with a client that we don't like, we're not going to give you any business. That would make sense if it was a private entity, right? So let's say I'm working for Google and then Yahoo doesn't want, so just happened. We've worked for Google and then they say I can't work with their competitors. So doing security for a private company makes sense that they might want to do something like that. But having taxpayers' money with the city of Austin saying that they're going to control who they sell to because of their political beliefs, it isn't right to me. And the same thing is taxpayers' money with the federal government. If we have the low bid for the border wall, we're saving everyone money. Same with any work we do for the city of Austin. So to me, it's just wrong when you are dealing with someone else's money to make discriminatory decisions based on your political grandstanding, essentially.
I think that's true, and for any of our libertarian viewers out there who might be thinking that, oh, local governments have the right to do whatever they want to do, that might be accurate if it was just, if that was it, if this was in a microcosm. But the reality is that there's no reason for a local government to be saying that you can't work with the federal government. We live in a federalist system. The federal government sets the standard, and then everything else branches out from that. And the reality is clearly that the only motivation that the city of Austin has for this is political persecution of those whose political beliefs they disagree with. I'm not surprised, really, that the city of Austin is acting this way. They've done similar things in the past, especially with the attempted sanctuary city status they're trying to achieve. But it's monumentally important that other media organizations cover this and cover similar stories to this. InfoWars will continue to cover it. Hopefully by some stroke of a miracle, it won't pass the city council tonight. I believe it's tonight. Is that correct?
I heard it was this morning. I don't really follow it too close. I heard it was this morning. But another thing that came to my mind thinking about this, if you say you're not going to do business with anyone associated with the border wall, the border wall is so big, they're saying it's what, 18 billion now is the estimate. We worked on the border fence, which was like 1.8 billion. We did about 30% of the work on the border fence. Well, there was so much steel required for that contract that we had to buy from every steel mill in the U.S. just because of the time frame and how much is needed. So all of the goods and services that it'll take to build this is we had to literally buy from every large steel mill in the U.S. because obviously being a federal project, it's Buy American Act, you got to buy it locally. So if they're not going to work with anyone that provides goods or services to the border wall, they're not going to work with anyone. They're going to have to outsource their steel from China. They're just the aggregate that will go into the concrete for it. Where they're going to say that no concrete suppliers here in Central Texas can provide them concrete on their curbs and gutters and streets and roads. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I would like to see how they're going to enforce it, because there's no way. And where do you draw the line when they say, what I heard was they don't want to do business with anyone associated with the border wall? It means proposing on, whether you work on it or not, or providing goods and services to it. So if you're not going to work with any of those people, who are you going to work with? Like, I don't think they've thought it through. And then where do you draw the line? I mean, that's where the bureaucracy comes in. Every bid we do, it's contracting. So we have attorneys look at the contracts, the RFPs, and if there's misstatements in there, if there's loopholes, you're quick to call it out. I wanted to know how they're going to write this up to make it where they could actually do it. To me, it just seems like it's a bunch of talk, but they haven't thought it through.
That's actually really fascinating. It's just another example of these liberal activist politicians legislating themselves into a corner where they can't actually operate practically in the real world. Well, Mr. Nash of Black Security Products, LLC, thank you very much for your giving us an interview today, and I wish you the best of luck in whatever happens going forward. I don't know that Austin not contracting you will affect you all that much, but...
Not compared to the federal government's work they give us. I'll stick with the federal government over the city.
I probably would too. All right, thank you very much. This has been Jake Lloyd for Infowars.com.
Owen Schroyer here for Infowars.com. Myself and Roger Stone host The War Room weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Central Time at Infowars.com/show, which is where you can find all of Infowars live broadcast. You can have a direct link to all of our content at warroom.show, which links you directly to our YouTube channel, War Room. You can also find all of our videos, our polls, and our opinions at War Room Show on Twitter, and some of our favorite memes at War Room Memes. Our Facebook page is War Room Show, where we also share our live video content as well as archive video content. For those of you that like listening to podcasts, though, on iTunes, we are available InfoWars War Room on the iTunes podcast platform. And if you like our live broadcast and want more of it, InfoWarsStore.com is how you support us.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
But here's an article from The Sun, Warehouse of Horrors. Now, do you ever wonder when you get a package from Amazon, say you order a pen and it comes in a box this big? Like, why do they do that? They're wasting trees. You say that. They're wasting trees. These poor... Hey, at least they have a job, though. These staff at these processing plants for Amazon have to process 300 packages an hour. So a young man went in and did a sting operation on them, saw people sleeping on their feet. One worker had to be taken to a hospital by an ambulance. They show all these images. Staff have to walk 10 miles a day. One staff member asked bosses, why are we not allowed to sit when it is quiet and not busy? We are human beings, not slaves and animals. Why am I talking about that? Because when you order from Amazon, you continue this process. Let's go to Venice from Chicago.
I'm not trying to soak up a lot of your time. I understand y'all doing this broadcast. I watch all of it, me and my wife. I love the fact that y'all have that toothpaste. We buy it in bulk. I really wish that y'all would really throw in a family pack type deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? With the mouthwash and whatnot. So, you know what I'm saying? We can just buy the whole bulk item.
And we had the 5-pack up right now.
Yeah, and I just want y'all to, the kids love the bubble gum.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer the peppermint.
Yeah, so do I.
But the mouthwash is incredible. It's incredible. I hate that I'm not going to lie, I hate that it's in a small amount.
Yeah.
You only get about, you only get a couple of flushes. Let's keep it all the way neat. Let's keep it all the way neat. Everybody knows what it is, but at the same token, you have great products. You have it. And I know that I can't go anywhere else to get these products because I can look on your labels versus anybody else's labels, and I can know and read the ingredients that's on them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to take it a step further, thank you for your Patriot seeds. Oh, my God. I have started an indoor garden.
Nice.
Everybody must know this.
Yeah.
You can start an indoor garden in your house with Alex Jones seeds from InfoWars.
Yep, and it'll be organic. These are good seeds. They're heirloom seeds. It's the way to go.
Sir.
I appreciate your call, Venice. I appreciate your support, and I'm glad you guys are using the toothpaste. It's great stuff. I also use Silver Bullet as a mouthwash if I'm traveling. I'll just swish a little bit of that all through. And I've been using Silver as a mouthwash like that since 2003. So when I bought my first colloidal silver generator, which no longer works. But yeah, that's the Silver Bullet to me is one of our best products. 4.9 stars. That's amazing. That's amazing. And you can check that over and over again on our products. 4.9, 4.8. I mean, people like our stuff and they continue to buy it and it funds what we do. And we're building more studios. We're going to hire more people. We're going to keep expanding. And we did it all because of you. That's the only way we're able to do it. We got 2 new studios that are freaking amazing. This new podcast studio is going to give Joe Rogan a run for his money. It looks fantastic. And then we have an even bigger, if you thought this studio was big, we've got one twice the size right over there. Right over there. And it's all because of you. It's all because you spread the links, you get the products, you use the products, you give great reviews for them. Thank you for your support. InfoWarsStore.com.